thing I would like to offer you that I only do during the full body fix. There are individuals that can get consultations with me between these full body fix events that we do only 4 times a year. But only during the full body fix. Otherwise, I charge about $700 an hour to meet with individuals. So for free, you can schedule a semi-private consultation with me, and it is semi-private. So there's anywhere from like 3 to 5 individuals typically in there, and we have a really awesome intimate conversation. I get to learn about what are the hurdles that you're up against with health or fitness and what you'd like to achieve. We have an awesome conversation, and of course, one of the big things we talk about and a lot of full body fix participants have questions about is what is after the full body fix. What do you do next? Like, do you have some program or something that you do? And we do. We have actually an entire doctorate level team and physical therapists and world-class trainers that support what we call our VIPs, which is what we call our clients. Long story short, consultations all about you. So we call it It's All About You session. And then you get to learn about those things as well. So if you're interested in that, in the chat, if you go to the chat and click the chat, you will see that Patricia has dropped a link there, and you can go to my calendar and schedule one of those It's All About You sessions with me. Okay. So, and they do fill up. They really do. Like usually by about, sometimes we go all the way to the 4th session of 5. And sometimes even the 3rd session where we don't actually have any more It's All About You sessions available. So definitely take advantage of it earlier in the sessions. And you'll hear me repeat it again. Like I'll repeat it again in next sessions, but they do fill up. So with that being said, Patricia started to share with you how you can participate in Q&A. And I see we have a lot of Zoom veterans, so they're very familiar with how all this works. But if you're not as familiar with Zoom, here's how you participate in Q&A, questions and answers with us, is you would go to reactions, which is on the bottom of your Zoom toolbar. You would click on reactions. It's like a smiley face with a plus sign on the top of the head. And then when you open that box, you'll see in the bottom, it says raise hand. When you click that, this will happen in your screen. And then I'll know exactly that you'd like to participate in Q&A. Awesome. And great Q&As or any questions that you have. So it's really open. Of course, this was a foot and ankle session, so that's ideal. But you can ask me any questions you want. And we always love positive shares as well. So without further ado, let's get started. And I'll call on you in order of which you raise your hand. So our first participant to raise their hand today was, and please correct me if I pronounce your name wrong, but it looks like Graham. Is it Graham? Welcome. It doesn't look like you're unmuted, my friend. And also it's a little unique. Your profile has some unique, usually we're able to send you like a ask to unmute button, but I don't see that on your profile. Okay. Unfortunately, that was unique. Maybe he signed off and had to sign back in. Okay, so we're going to go on to Lauren. Lauren, you have your camera open now. Awesome. Cool. All right, so we're going to bring Lauren up here with me.
Okay, I just have a question. Is it I had to use my hands on all those exercises to like hold my toes in place and especially the toe exercises. Is that pretty common, or am I just super?
Yeah.
Do I have super foot problems?
No. So not necessarily.
Okay.
Like even when I first individually started doing that myself, I had to use my hands too. So
okay.
So it is really
because that your wife she could really lift her toes high. I couldn't. I even with my hands I couldn't get them to go that high. And then my second question is, a lot of us have osteoporosis or osteopenia, and as we're like trying to hold our foot and ankles in place, these exercises don't pose a danger to those of us with soft bones, do they? Or
no, there's not enough fat. Yeah, no. I mean, if you're going to be damaging your bone from these exercises, like you wouldn't be safely walking around. right? Because
Oh, okay.
you apply a lot more load and stress like walking around than doing these exercises. Like everything we do is nice and slow and controlled. And
Okay.
but yeah, in fact, just the opposite. It's actually going to be really good for your bone strength and development, because the more stable your feet are, the more load and healthful motion you can put on your body, and that's stimulus on your bone to stay strong. So yeah, it's actually really, really good for you.
Okay, thank you. I found it very interesting, by the way. You did a great job.
Thank you so much, Lauren.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye for now. I'll see you soon.
Okay.
And then Janet, hello. You're up next with me. And one question I like to ask everyone, because it's so cool when we get to meet in a group here digitally, is where are you coming from? Where are you logging in with us from in today's session?
Hi, can you hear me?
I sure can, perfectly. Yeah,
Okay, so I'm in Southern California.
awesome.
And so it was very interesting session for me also. But I have some major concerns just about, I have multiple physical disabilities, which really impact my movements in many ways. And I'm wondering if this program is something that is workable for someone like me. So for example, I have peripheral neuropathy in both feet. I have severe scoliosis. I've had a hip and a knee replacement, and I've got arthritis in all of my joints. And my balance is terrible. I have lymphedema on both calves, so I go through therapy for that. And I have on my left foot is disfigured because the metatarsal bone on the second toe is too long, that kind of things. And so I wonder how much benefit someone like me might get from a program like this.
Sure. Great question. Very common concern too. You're not alone. There's other individuals, many individuals who are now VIPs, which was again what we call our clients VIPs, that just like yourself. So yes, the more issues you have, the more you actually need to work on it, really. Doesn't mean when you have less issues. There's really two ends of the spectrum. One is exactly what you just presented. And the other is the individual that's like, I really want to be fit. I really want to run a marathon, or they have some kind of physical goal. They really want to do something athletic. That individual especially needs to do this stuff. Everyone in the middle really should do it. And then on the spectrum that you spoke about too, because this individual is going to be stressing their body more, so they're more exposed to risk. For you, yeah, I mean, the roots, really the foundation of living is movement and is motion, because your muscles literally signal every other cell in the body and say, you should be alive, you should be functional. And that's literally based on movement and function and muscle contraction. So the more you can keep your body capable and movable in motion, the better you're going to have in terms of venous return, in terms of the lymphedema that you talked about, the bit more capable you're going to be to keep all your joints strong and combat arthritis, because putting some load and stress on your body will actually help slow down, or really, really extreme slow down, the arthritic developments. So yes, you should, and you have to kind of take it one piece at a time, which is what you're already doing, and is what we do in the full body fix. Focus on the feet, find what you need to do there. Next, we'll go through knees and hips, figure out what you need to do there, and kind of add all of those things into your physical exercise repertoire that you're probably already doing some things. So it's really, really, really beneficial, really important for you and other individuals who have similar issues, because the other option is to, if you don't do it, then it just becomes even more dysfunctional. You're not going to become more functional if you don't really work on it. So I highly encourage you to really, really dive in and use those exercises, and it will make a dramatic difference. If I gave you a percentage, it's going to make, if here's ideal and this is where you're at, you're going to move at least 20% towards ideal, which is in a zone that really kind of affects your life, your quality of life. So you get that 20% minimum is going to be all quality of life gains. So that's huge. So yes, it will help you. And every session that we go through will help you so much. So absolutely.
Okay. I'm really interested in the next one with the knees and the and the hips, so. Okay. All
That'll
right,
be-
thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. It'll be a great session for sure. And Sheila, hello Sheila, welcome.
Hi, can you hear
Hi.
me?
I can, yes.
Great.
Perfect.
I appreciate this session. It was fabulous. I'm living in the a forest of the largest ponderosa pines in the world in northern Arizona. We're about 7,000 feet. And I'm in my 70s and I can still breathe, and I'm very grateful to be here
Nice.
and be here with you. I
Nice.
wanted to ask a quick question. When you were working with lovely Patricia, you mentioned in passing that she had had bunions, and I have a bunion on my right foot only. And I was wondering if the exercises that we just did today, if I did them regularly, like however you're going to recommend daily, and the 1 minute on each foot, which seems very minor and very doable, if that would help to straighten out my right foot.
Yeah, absolutely. It sure will. And so let's talk about that. And actually, let me bring Patricia up because she has a great story, kind of share like what the background was and like what she's done and how it's helped her. It's always best to hear from the individual who actually had that transformation. So Patricia, if you could come up on the meeting with us.
Hello. I want to start by telling you that we are neighbors. We are also in Arizona.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yes, the lovely, lovely state. We are located in Phoenix.
Oh, you're down in the heat.
It's a lovely. I love it every minute of it. So let me tell you, my whole family has bunions. All the women in my family, not the guys, just the women. And my grandma had a pretty deformed feet. Her bunion was really, really extremely bad. And when I met Robbie, I was in my early 20s and I was already starting to have that. And it was quite painful. And he started working on me on all of those exercises. And I also wore a device. What was that, Robbie? It was a
Toe
toe
separator.
separator.
Yeah, like a toe separator. Yeah.
And
So if I can just cut in so then everyone knows what so it like wraps onto your foot and pulls your big toe outward, which is the opposite of what's creating that bunion. So it starts to realign your body, your toe, your foot, specifically your first metatarsal. You'd start by wearing this about 5 minutes at night because it's not the most comfortable. It's not the worst thing, but it's not the most comfortable thing. So wear for about 5 minutes, next night, 5 minutes, and then you just start going a minute more every night as comfort stays, and you could back off if needed. Get up to about 2 hours over the course of a few months and wearing that thing like every night for about 2 hours, and it will make a drastic difference, especially along with the exercises as well. Make a huge difference.
Thank you.
yes, it really did. It completely changed where my feet were going in a very bad direction, and it completely reversed. Now I don't have it anymore. I did for quite a while these exercises. That's why I'm so good at it. It took a lot of practice. It's not easy to raise the toes
Yes.
individually, but I did a lot. So I'm a pro. and I have nice feet now. It does not have bunions. So yay, it works.
Thank you.
Of course.
Any more questions on that, Sheila? Does that all make sense? Cool, awesome, cool. And see you soon. See you again soon. And Sheila.
Robbie, actually, before we go to Celia, can we go back to Graham because he was not able to
Sure.
unmute, and he
Okay.
dropped a question in the chat,
Okay.
which is related to pain in one big toe, not gout, experience when extending the big toe 1 foot only.
My question related to pain in one big toe, not gout experience when extending the big toe, only 1 foot only. So experienced when extending the big toe on 1 foot. Okay, so so when you extend your big toe, you feel pain, and you don't have gout. Okay. Yeah, there can be a few different causations of that. One of the things can be joint issues. So the actual articulature and the surfaces between the joints, so the small joints in your big toe, that can be an issue. But you can also have an issue with tissue, so soft tissue, which can be tissues that actually contract and create motion, and also all kind of the connective tissue that holds your body together. So what you'd want to do is look at the part that you can really change the most without any invasive procedures first. So you could do a lot of like massage on the underside of your toes, on the top side, stretch your big toe backwards and hold. And while you're stretching the big toe backwards, I'm using my hand obviously to like mimic what you do with your foot. And you just massage all underneath, like you would knead dough. Just think like a little piece of dough. You're kneading all the tissues and stretching back, and then stretching the other way. And you're going to know which side is most tight. And you literally work through the whole foot that way and the whole foot back the other way. And then very likely it's going to start to decrease symptoms significantly with that pain. And then you can go into the exercises. So you first mobilize the tissue, work on the tissue, and then do the exercises. Then you're going to start strengthening the tissue, getting a lot more function going. But typically, like when we have VIPs who have specific like joint pain issues or very specific things going on, like pain in a big toe, for example, we typically would look at your MRIs and that type of thing, and then prescribe a specific course of action. Like we actually have an orthopedic surgeon who's a physician, of course, on our team, and our goal is not to do surgery. Our goal is to not do surgery, right? Our goal is to like get away with everything with like exercise-based therapeutic structure. So in that case, we do like a full like analysis to figure that out. But that's some good direction for you to start thinking about and getting some progress to start with. And Celia, hello, you're up next. And please correct me if I pronounce your name incorrectly. And also let me know where you're from.
I'm Celia, and I am from Provo, Utah. And my question to you is, I have an opposite bunion. I'm 60 years old, and I delivered milk for 34 years. And I have a talar bunion on both feet. And I was wondering, can you reverse talar bunions as you can reverse the effects of a regular bunion? So my bunions are by my little toe.
Yeah, you could find a device and use it the same way as you do on the big toe side. You can do on the little toe side as well. It is also possible. You'd probably you'd want to connect to like the second metatarsal, second toe. So you'd actually pull more like this, because bunions are caused from the stress of the foot. For example, like most individuals get it on the big toe side. So they're going into pronation, the foot's rolling into the flat foot position, or they walk with their feet out slightly and then the foot is rolling think of like a flat tire. And just this repeated stress, the body will adapt. The body's amazing at adaptation. It can be good because we can adapt to things like exercise, get ourselves really strong and mobile, but it's also can be bad if we are wearing improper footwear or stepping wrong or have poor mechanics, then it can create dysfunctions. So that's really where bunions and that type of thing come from. But I would use the same type of methodology, and I would also massage the tissues. I'd also be really aware potentially you have more supination. You may have supination where your feet tend to roll to the outside. You may find that your shoes wear on the outside. It's a possibility. It's common. It's not always, but it's a high commonality in individuals who have the bunion on the little toe side.
What is the name of the machine that you use for the bunions?
So you could find this on I call it a toe separator, but it's one of those things, like every brand will probably call it something different. Patricia, could you find for us a link for that But yeah, like if you went on Amazon or Walgreens or Walmart or CVS or whatever type of drugstore you have in your area, almost always like a large drugstore always have these devices in like the medical area. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
Sounds good.
it's actually a pretty common device, but it does work really well.
okay. Sounds good.
Awesome. And hello, Wendy, you're up next with me here.
Great. Two questions. First of all, this is fabulous. I've been, I'm 78 and I'm so tired of fitness people
Right.
trying to make me 23.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I
One
hear-
question is with respect to raising the three toes,
Mhm.
I can raise them a little bit, but I can't raise them a lot. And I just wondered, is it better to keep lifting them with your other hand? Or is it better to just keep practicing lifting?
It's better to lift them more with your other hand in the beginning until you
Okay.
have extreme clarity over what your actual range of motion is.
Okay,
So like, if you do that every other day or every 3 days for like 2 to 3 sets range, depending on how you feel with it, for about 10 reps each. And then over the course of like 2 weeks, you're gonna know like, okay, I can kind of see where my mobility is at. I that one time I was able to get them this high. Oh, okay, well, you
Yeah.
know that you can actually get at them that high. So then that should be kind of your goal. Once you can create that to be the baseline, then you can, and you're able to actually make the movement happen without your fingers, then you can back off your fingers and you keep trying to achieve your best rep for all reps. Achieve
Okay.
your best, like your
so,
best.
but first keep lifting them as far as I can lift them. And then when they'll go on their own, with my muscles. Okay,
Exactly. Yeah, within reason. Like you don't want to, I mean, a little common sense would go a long way, but you're not trying to like do this massive stretch of like an intensity of a 7. That's definitely not the goal.
Yeah.
But an intensity, and you may even try actually doing a stretch of like an intensity of a 3-4 just for mobility purposes, and then go back to trying to do the actual motor action. And in
Yeah.
between every set, you could do a little stretching of the toes. Like that would be a really good thing to do.
great,
also.
because I could actually lift them quite high with my hand. I just didn't have the motor ability to do it without my hand.
Yeah, and the likelihood is you're never going to be able to lift the toes as high as you can pull them back with the hand. Is never going to happen where you're able to do that without the hand assistance. But find that best region that you can get to, that best position that you can get to without the hand.
Okay. And then the second question, I'm sure that as we move up the body, we'll get to lower back problems.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
coming. It's coming for sure. Yeah. Session 2 is going to be knees and hips, which have a lot to do with lower back, a lot. Usually the issues in the back are as much hip related as it is back related. So lower back really has everything to do with pelvis and hips, like pelvic position and hips. But with session 2 is knees and hips. Session 3, which would be on Wednesday, will be low pelvis, low back, upper back. So we'll get into a lot of specifics, both in session 2 and in session 3, all related also among other things to low back.
Great. So then how do I find out when the other sessions are? Because they didn't appear anywhere for me.
Okay, yeah, that should have come across in like emails and all the series that the team puts together. But Patricia, if you can drop the link in for scheduling in the chat here. So if anyone else have the same situation that you're not quite sure, you're not registered in and confirm for session 2, 3, 4, 5, Patricia will drop that link in the chat right now. And you can just go to the chat and have yourself scheduled in for whatever time makes best sense for you.
And we have 4 more sessions. I just dropped the link in the chat. So it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And you can schedule on the link that I just dropped. And if you are in the other side of the world, it's going to be Tuesday, Thursday,
Yeah, like if you're in Australia,
Saturday, and Sunday.
yeah.
Okay. thank you very much for doing this. It's really like a miracle.
You're so very welcome. Yeah. Yeah, I love this stuff. So I'm happy to do it.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and make sure, of course, like anything, right? When you show up, you get results. So the best thing to do is try to attend all of the full body fix sessions, but make sure you don't miss the 5th session. That's the one that I give you a free gift. It's a really cool, amazing session. I bring some famous people to the session. It's a lot of fun. But would love to see you all in all sessions. And with that, let's go on to Adrian. Hello, sir. Welcome. And let
Hi,
me know-
Robbie. How are you?
Good, good. Where are you logging in with us from?
I'm logging in from Nova Scotia, Canada.
Nice.
And I'm damned if I'm going to tell you my age because I don't allow enumeration to define me.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay. Now, unfortunately, I tuned into the first session quite late. I think at around the 45-50 minute mark. And so I just need to clarify something with you. Do I understand correctly that each of the sessions will be sent to my email, the video of that,
Correct.
along
Yeah,
with a checklist or cheat sheet or whatever you want to call
exactly. That's exactly correct.
it?
After the session, then the team will send out that. And I think they do it like 2 days, after the actual session.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited to be here with you and thank you for the opportunity. It's great.
I'm excited to have you with us here, Adrian.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, my friend. And Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Where are you logging in with us from?
I live east of Seattle, Washington, and Washington State. Up in the foothills, we have lots of trees, and it's really great here.
That's awesome. Are you an eye doctor? I see the chart on in your background.
Oh no, that's a class I was taking, and I
Oh,
haven't finished it yet. Yeah, to improve my eyesight.
oh.
So my question for you is, I have quite the interesting, not really, but issues in my body. So I had ankylosing spondylitis since I was about in my 20s. And then recently I found out I had, about 10 years ago, spina bifida meningocele. So the backs of my legs now are kind of atrophying, and my head, part of the reason that's worse is my head got forward. So I'm having a lot of heaviness. The body's trying to, maintain. So I wondered if, I guess if the stuff that you're doing would be helpful for that in some way. I do some stuff where I roll on the floor and with these rolling balls and things, but it's gotten worse. So I feel like I've got to do something.
Yeah, when you have issues like this one, you have to be really careful the way you're applying stress to your body, like certain rolling exercises, like if you to get a hard foam roller and like roll your back, it actually can be somewhat dangerous. So I'd be a little cautious on some of those things. But everything I teach you in the full body fix with a little, again, a little common sense goes a long way. Listen to your body first and listen to me second. But yeah, it will help you significantly. And as you get your hips more mobile and functional and all the things I teach you about body alignment, that will help you quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems like because I'm doing all this, it's like I'm fighting the whole structure. And so there's a lot of weird stuff happening. So I guess, I'll just continue to come each day and we'll see what happens at the end.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And it's true for everyone, but the big thing is like consistency, right? The big thing, especially, the majority of those, which is the intention, and we actually set it up this way. The majority of those who attend Full Body Fix are around the age of 50 or older. And so, or more experienced in life, they're more veteran. And so they get a lot smarter. It's amazing how much smarter humans get once they get near 50 and over, actually. I've been training and developing humans since I was like about literally in my early teens. And it's amazing how much more intelligent people get about their body and what they should do and shouldn't do. And just like a common sense level of like, well, this is going to be good for me and this won't. So when you get near 50 and over, or you have medical issues, or you're really trying to focus on your health, consistency is the key. So we're never try to go like one session and like go extreme and like get all the results from one session and make it happen in like 1 or 2 weeks. Like that's usually not, doesn't work very well. When you're like 18 years old, you can get away with that stuff usually. But the consistency and like the really intelligent usage and body mechanics and just being extreme, the extreme should be the consistency. And like, I've never seen anyone who uses what we teach on a consistent level and not make like profound changes. Like I've seen people with peripheral neuropathy, all kinds of body pathologies, scoliosis, everything. And when they just are very consistent and just take a sensible approach, the result is huge. So
is that something where we would be connecting with you here, or someone will be doing that, teaching us about, or how does that work?
So you're going to learn a lot in the Full Body Fix. Like, Full Body Fix is set up that you come to the Full Body Fix, get a ton of value, and like you're going to improve the rest of your exercise for the rest of your life if you apply what you learn in Full Body Fix, kind of done, into story. But if you really want to go like next level, then we have our VIP training system. And so in our VIP training system, that's where I personally go through a full body retraining system on a multiple times per week basis. Our physiologist and our doctor on the screen watching you when you exercise, and they give you video feedback and analysis. And then you have direct connection with all of our coaches. And yeah, we have a really world-class team that like watches and guides our VIPs through all of that system. But yeah, so Full Body Fix, I focus on like just giving free big value. But yeah, we along the way and in the 5th session, you'll learn a little bit more about that. But yeah, we do have that available.
Okay, great. I will wait to see how it goes. Thank you so much.
Awesome. You're welcome. Yeah, and if you want to find out about it earlier, you can always schedule an It's All About You session, which is one of the links that Patricia dropped in the chat.
I did. I already put my name in there.
There you go.
All righty. We'll see you later. Thank you.
See you soon. You're welcome, Jenny. And Kay. Hi, Kay. Where are you logging in with us from? One second. We just need to get you unmuted. Should have a link on your screen there to unmute. Not unmuted yet.
Now I am.
There you go. Yep, you are.
Okay. Well, I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. And I'm the oldest person on screen so far. I'm 80 years old. So I put many miles on these feet, many miles. I used to play tennis and all that. But I have crooked toes. And they sort of lean to the side, and then the middle joint, is higher than the rest of the toe. And I also have the beginnings of neuropathy. So I was just wondering what I could do to better that situation.
The mechanics don't necessarily change so much. I mean, there's small little things that you can do, like, so, if your toe should be straight and it's kind of going to the side, you can massage and work on the tissues that are on the side that it's going towards, right? So if it's supposed to be straight and it goes in this direction, I'll plug this computer in. So if it's supposed to go straight and it's going in this direction, then the tissue on this side will be tighter. Not necessarily is it the tissue that's pulling it. It can be bone, it can be different types of genetic pathologies. But regardless, these tissues here will get tighter. And so it'll start to reinforce the misalignment. So what you can do is like massage around the tissue in the toe, and you get all those tissues aligned, and then do the exercises I'm teaching in the session. So massage towards the tissue that the body part is pulling incorrectly into. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So whatever the body part is going towards, massage in that tissue, stretch that tissue, and then do the exercise. That way you're going to realign the tissues and then reinforce with the strengthening and the motor control. driving new neurological connection. So it just increases the need. It actually, what happens in those situations, it increases the need for you to do the exercise. It's gonna, you stand to gain in a way even more benefit, because if not, that's gonna really affect your quality of life, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
does that make sense? You're welcome. Does
Oh,
all that
yeah.
make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Perfect. You're welcome. And up next, Heather. Hi, Heather. Welcome.
Hi, how you going?
I'm fantastic. And you?
Good, thanks.
And where are you logging in with us from?
I'm in a little place north of Brisbane in Queensland, Australia.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. Yeah, we actually have some, we have an Australian and a New Zealand VIP actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay, awesome. So I've just got a quick question. As I'm aging, I've noticed a lot of muscle depletion. Are these exercises likely to help that at all?
That's an awesome question. Yes, indirectly. There are certain exercises that will really help, but so when we age, or yeah, really it starts at age 25, but we start to really see it when we get around the age of 50. For some people it's 40, for some people it's 60, but around this age range, we start to really see it. But it actually starts about 25. We start to lose muscle, we start to lose strength, eventually start to lose some neurological connection. And what happens is to get that back, the number one thing you can do is exercise in a way that stresses the tissues and literally causes healthful breakdown, so that your body will come back from it and get stronger. But
Okay.
Exercise is stress, and it is damage to the body. It literally, like, if you like read the science on this, like, you're literally damaging your tissues. So, but if you do that in a healthy way, stress makes us stronger, right? Stress makes us stronger. So you have to keep the stress healthful. Well, the number one thing to keep the stress healthful is to do things in a proper biomechanically optimized, sound way. So like the reason why I teach the full body fix the way I do, and not just jump to like advanced training strategies, which we have in our 70s and 80s, in 60s and 50s, VIPs, they all go through that eventually. The reason why I teach full body fix the way I do first is because we need to root out these mechanical issues. That's like the foundation. So no matter where you're going to go next, you want to find like, where do you have issues and misalignments? Because that will be the straw, or sometimes a big straw, that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. It'll be the thing that, like, your foot issues is the thing that causes the whole fitness routine to crumble, or your knee or your hip or your pelvis or back or whatever, as we go through the full body fix. So when you see those things and you optimize your mechanics, then you get even better, healthful, therapeutic, anti-aging results from exercise. That's the goal. And that's the part, like, that's the big unique thing that we do at the Fitness Doctor that's different than the rest of the fitness industry. And I can't remember the full body fix participant's name, but she said it really well. So I'm tired of the fitness industry talking to me like I'm 23 years old. And so that's what everyone really does, is like, well, push. Okay, we want to gain more endurance, gain more strength. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone wants that. Everyone wants to look good, be strong, be high energy, like, absolutely. But we need to work on the mechanical foundation first, because that's what you have to use to develop those fitness things. So if you go through all the full body fix and then you use that thought process in your training routine, you're going to have super therapeutic, super strengthening results. Because what happens for the tremendously kind of ridiculous level percentage of people is, if they try to push themselves with exercise near the age of 50 and over, they always, almost always end up with some body problem, breakdown. Like, oh, it was all going good until my shoulder issue. It was all going good till my back. It was all going good. I know, all participants can either relate personally to this, or like have a friend that this definitely happened to. Right. And it's not just fitness related. So like, it doesn't matter, like, if you've been working out for years, sometimes that can be even worse because you're building up larger issues by not being mechanically sound.
Yeah.
So it's the foundation that then leads to it. It's the most intelligent approach that you can possibly, but then you want to go, okay, well, then go to the next level. Like, how do I really strengthen into that? How do I take these foot exercise and tie that in to a full routine, right? And that's what we do in our VIP training system, is bring all that together and get all the fitness results that anybody would want in terms of strength, muscle gain, fat loss, all of those things.
Great, awesome. Yes, so I'm 65, and I've noticed it over the last few years, but every time I try and do something about it, yeah, I injure myself. So this sounds like it might be the thing for me. Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Bye.
Bye for now. We'll see you again
Yeah.
soon.
Yep.
And Erica. Hello, Erica. I'm going to give you a little link here to open your camera. Perfect. Hello and welcome. Where are you logging in with us? Hello.
Northwest Washington state, that
Awesome.
is. Yeah,
Awesome.
so this is really interesting to me. It kind of reminds me a little bit of PRI. I don't know if you've heard of that before, postural restoration. Anyway, yeah. But I had a skull-based surgery last year in October 2021, and I've got some dizziness and balance issues. But one of the things I've noticed is, like, my whole right side, like, I did a lot of computer work before I had the surgery, and then everything just became super bound up. I lost some muscle back here. And I have scar tissue that kind of tugs at my occipital bone. And so I was just, there's physical therapy I'm doing, but I feel like, everything I'm doing, it's just not enough. And I know my body has some imbalances. I know that, we all do, but maybe there's something more I can do than just rolling around on lacrosse balls, trying to get those knots out, and paying for massage and going to chiropractic and, acupuncture. It's like, when does it end?
Right.
So
yeah.
that's, yeah.
Yeah. So like, everything you just listed was people doing things to you, and you need to like take those things. Are all good, and they can really help people. And like every single one of those things you just listed have made profound effects for different individuals. But like, you have to take control of, like, okay, well, where are my tissues tight, and like mobilizing. And every morning, like, if you have certain tight tissues that your physical therapist is teaching and analyzing and showing you, then you need to like work on those areas yourself, like every day. Like, when you get up in the morning, realign your body, and then your posture and the way you're sitting and you're holding your body throughout the day. And then doing exercises on a very consistent basis to help strengthen the neck, doing like, shoulder elevation, for example, with dumbbells or bands, working the mobility and staying very, very consistent. And then taking that into a full approach where you're keeping those mechanics while you're walking, while you're doing lunges, squats, rows, pushes, pulls. When you start doing all that, then you tie your full fitness routine together. So you're doing some good things on the therapeutic side to help the tissue recovery, but now you have to use your neurological system, so the brain and the spinal cord, to generate motion and functionality in that body part. Because if you don't, your neurological system always senses that area is like dysfunctional, it's irregular, it's not the way it's supposed to. But once you start making that connection with feeling that tissue and functioning that tissue right and doing it regularly, then the neurological says, okay, this part's intact, and the pain signals and the stiffness and muscle guarding will go way down. So it has to be your own motor control generated. So there's levels to this stuff, and it's good things that you're doing, but then you want to take over and start doing your own muscle mechanics. And there's a lot of details like, well, what should I do? What exercise? And I will teach you a significant portion of that in the full body fix, but then you're going to want to like keep that continuum going.
Right. Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I think, yeah, this is very cool. I'm excited to do more, so.
Yeah, there's levels to it. Like what you're doing is great. And let's like back it up and make it really easy. So what you learn in the 4th session, shoulders and neck, applying what you learn in the 4th session, shoulders and neck, will be a great start.
Okay,
just-
yeah,
That'll
no,
be a
that's
great start.
good. Yeah. Yeah, I just haven't had a whole lot of mobility because of like major pain issues, which has been so I'm like out of shape and, I need to get, yeah, it's been a struggle wanting to do stuff, not being able to, and all that. So.
And take advantage that it's still summer and it's still warm in most places in the world. So, or at least north of the equator. So I'm sure it's still pretty warm in Washington and nice and humid.
It is.
So, yeah, so you can go in the water, right? You can go in the water. Water is one of the best places to do exercise. Water is one of the best places if you feel like you're not in shape to start getting back in shape, because there's not a lot of impact and load on your joints. Water exercise is amazing for your like conditioning. And when you get more endurance and condition and body motion, then it makes everything in your body heal faster and more thoroughly. So
Okay.
that's another
I've
thing
usually
that's
been-
really important.
I've usually blown off water exercise because of chlorine and all the stuff that's in the water, but maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just not worry about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
depending on where you live, you can always go to like a lake or a river, or you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
depending, right, it might not make sense for Washington. There's a lot of bodies of water though. So
Yeah, there is. No, these are good ideas. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And Carmen. Hi, Carmen. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm enjoying this program. I'm in Arizona, down in Green Valley, south of Tucson.
Oh, awesome. Just south of us.
So near
A couple hours.
My question is this: several years ago, about 20 years ago, I developed a Morton's neuroma in between my second and third toe, my right foot. And the podiatrist's answer to that was cortisone shots. And in the process of doing that, every time he gave me a shot, my second toe would roll over sideways. And he was very proud of that. He says, I can always tell I've got the right spot when that toe rolls over. Well, the third shot, the toe rolled over and it never came back. And so now my toe is in there, and I don't know, it looks like a hammer toe with the knuckle up and kind of leaning over to the side. And I don't know if I had a doctor take a picture of it. He said that is it a tendon that connects the toes? And okay, he said the tendon was destroyed and the bone had rolled. My question to you then is, which of those foot exercises would be, I'm not going to get that tendon back, so my foot's unstable. What would be the best ones for me to do, or would all of them be the best? And I've tried foot massage, like he told Kay. I tried foot massage underneath that toe to try to straighten it out, and that perhaps if I were more consistent, it would straighten out. I don't know. And I've tried using the yoga toes to separate my toes, because I've developed a bunion there now on that foot because it's all disconnected. So your advice, please.
Yeah, so the likelihood is the whole tendon didn't just deteriorate and go away. It just that you develop some weakness. So the problem with cortisone shots is it's well, the good part and the reason why people get them is because it's dramatically effective at decreasing inflammation. And so so for simple understanding, like the way our bodies work and stay functional and stay alive and have new cellular structures, is basically we have degeneration and regeneration. So it's like building any structure, you have the excavation team that goes in and tears it down, and then it builds back up. So that's why exercise is so effective. You put stress in your body, that's degenerative. You rest, you eat well, you eat good proteins and nutrients, and you regenerate the tissues. Well, the cortisone shot, what it does is it actually stops, in some cases to extreme degree, the actual degenerative effect. Well, you have to have degenerative effect to get some regenerative effect. So it stops it so much, it changes this natural cycle of the tissue, which is why you shouldn't get too many cortisone shots. So, or at least have a significant period of time between them. And so but the likelihood is you didn't just degenerate the tendon, is probably muscle and tendon, and I'm sure it didn't just go away. So the good news is there's still structure and attachment probably there, right? I haven't seen any images or anything, so I don't know for sure, but the likelihood. So yes, you still have structure, you have more there than you do. So good, like mental upliftment that I'm sure you can redevelop a lot of that structure. So what I would do is the same thing, is kind of like figure out where's the tissue tight. So if it's rolling towards an area that's tight, then it shouldn't, wherever the bone segment or the body segment is going, that it shouldn't massage towards the tissue of the direction it's going in, right? So like if my finger was rotating this way and it wasn't supposed to, then all these tissues, sorry. So if my finger is rotating this way, right, that would mean these tissues are tight. These tissues are shortening here. You can even see it. Like the tissues are, so you'd want to massage that area and then kind of go the opposite gently, okay? Gently, common sense goes a long way. So then massage, gentle, rotate, and the consistency of doing that like every day, a couple times a day, and then follow that with the actual exercises I showed today. So you would do that first, and then you do the exercises, because you're getting the tissues to align, and then you're putting that ideal functionality, the 3 toe raise, the half dome exercise, the dorsiflexion, the calf stretch, even the self-applied plantar fascia massage. You're doing all of that after you align your foot. And so it's going to work ideally for you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And next we have our awesome participant, Gary. Hello, Gary. Let me know where you're logging in with us from. Looks like you're all unmuted. No, you're unmuted, but we don't hear you for some reason. You might have to. There we go. Yep, I hear you. Oh, thought I did for a second there. Patricia, can you potentially help Gary by going to a breakout session, and I can run the meeting here?
Yes.
And then we can come back. Okay. So sorry, Gary, Patricia's going to help you individually in a breakout session. I'm going to meet with James, but then we'll bring you back into this room. So when you get a link that says go to breakout session, just make sure you click join. Okay.
Probably by what I just watched, I believe that he is having a mic problem. So Gary, I would just ask you to type your question in the chat so Robbie can answer.
And then I'm going to bring James up here so we continue on, but I will come back to you, Gary. And so James, I gave you a little link there to unmute and also to start your video so we can screen share with me.
Right. I'm not on Facebook, and so I don't know if that's my problem.
Well, it wouldn't have anything to do with
But
Facebook.
no, I guess, I just did it. I just hit the button that said,
That's okay. I don't think potentially if you click to start your camera and it's not working, that's okay. We can have a conversation without you on screen share. That's okay.
okay, what my, the lady that said she was 80 and the oldest one, well, I'm 81. And, but I have neuropathy, and I thought that was about my main problem for maybe why I couldn't raise my toes in the middle. But what happened is that in 2013, I had a neurologist tell me that I had 20% neuropathy of my toes. In 2020, I went to a different neurologist, and he said that I was, he did a nerve study on me, and my knees were when he hit my knees, they were popping up all over the place and so forth. And so he sent me to a vascular surgeon, and the vascular surgeon told me that I had, he gave me a chart that showed where the veins, the blood didn't go all the way down. And so he said I had DVT in my veins. So my doctor put me on Eliquis, and it's developed pretty good. I noticed that it's been a little bit better, but I still have the blood flow problem, and I think that's my main problem. And then all of a sudden in April, I ended up with spinal stenosis. And so I'm everything hit me at one time. And so
Yeah,
I,
it's amazing
but
how
the,
that,
but
that happened.
the one thing I was going to ask you about was as far as my feet, I have a shoe size on my right foot that is a 10 and it's a C, and the left foot is a 10.5 D. So I can never have loafers. But I wondered if that would, no matter if they were the same size, maybe I would have stability. Because they're odd size, does that make it seem like that I would have a instability all the time?
Yeah, well, that would definitely absolutely change things when you have one side due to mass and structure and balance and stability and muscle connection points. Yeah, all those things are going to change. So you're going to have a different stability on one side than you would another, for sure. But one thing you said that was really interesting that I should comment to is, having neuropathy. Well, neuropathy is basically, different forms of not having your nervous system connect with the tissues and function the tissues the way they should, right? So when your tissues aren't turning on and functioning the way they should, then you don't have proper muscle contractions, metabolic function, and therefore vascular output. So the reason why you very likely develop deep vein thrombosis, or what you call DVT, is very likely because you didn't have enough muscle function. You're not functioning that area enough. So what I would suggest is you really get really step up the level of like foot exercises that you're doing, exercises that you're doing in water, going in water where you're lighter, where it's a low impact, and pumping your legs and doing all kinds of motion and movement. So I would significantly encourage you to do much more movement, much more function, and that will drastically improve your vascular function. This is not any type of prescription. I would suggest you talk to your doctor, but you might even notice and work with them. Okay, don't make any changes based on what I'm telling you other than the exercise. But you might talk to them about, if you really follow that approach I just gave you, you're very likely to be able to decrease your medication and such. But talk to your doctor about that and see, because if you get much more physically active, especially with feet and lower body and going in exercise and in water, it's very likely you decrease that deep vein thrombosis issue.
Well, I do have a Body Works 5000 by Joe Weider, which is a fake Chuck Norris Total Gym. It's about the same. It's the same thing. And so I will do that. And thank you very much.
You're very welcome, James. And Lee, hello, Lee. You are next. Hello and welcome.
Probably before we go to Lee,
Yes.
let's answer Gary because he was not able to speak. His question is, he lives in Woodstock, Georgia, and he has Parkinson for 5 or 6 years now. He goes to the gym about 5 days a week, and my workouts are very hard. I was gaining strength, but with a lot of injuries. The Parkinson seems to be working against me. Will this help me?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the reason why you're going to get body mechanics damage, injuries is because of your body alignment and not activating the right muscles. So what you learn in the full body fix will go a long way to really help you with that. So Parkinson's, there's actually one of the #1 researchers on Parkinson's and high intensity exercise is a good friend of mine. So one of the #1 researchers in the country is a very good friend of mine, Dr. Linda Denny. And they actually have really good research showing high intensity exercise improves sleep and improves a lot of the symptoms with Parkinson's. So I do encourage you to continue doing that. But you know, that's always the straw that breaks the camel's back, is exercise will give you great results. But the high intensity is where we can get the best results, but it's also the highest risk. So then it causes like damage and breakdown to the body. So the way to get all the benefits and not have issues is you have to approach it from a biomechanically sound standpoint first, which is, you know, the details to that is what you're learning in the full body fix. So I would strongly encourage you to apply all of those things first, kind of maybe change and redevelop what you're doing. And then one more time, kind of like going in water and exercise would kind of be the perfect conditioning approach. So when you want to do high intensity exercise, I would suggest you do your high intensity in water, but then you do your therapeutic balance, strengthening and all that out of water. So the water you can do the high intensity without getting the body damage. And then you can do the other exercise as a therapeutic approach. So that would be the best plan for you. And next up, we're going to bring Lee on the screen here.
Okay.
Hi, Lee. How are you?
I'm fine. I just, years of standing in high heels, I developed hammer toes. And I've been noticing that you're wanting massage on the area that's being pulled down. So I've been doing that. But I understand there's sort of a malformation in the bones once they've gone into hammer toes. So does stretching and massaging help release those? I mean, the bones are already malformed. Is there anything else I can do to help with those hammer toes?
You heard the suggestion about the toe separator too. So do you have a bunion on that side as well, or?
No, just up on the top of the knuckle of the toe, so that this part, the toes actually face down. They get calluses on them, but this part rubs on my shoes sometimes. Of course, I'm not wearing pointy shoes anymore. I'm wearing, very broad-toed shoes, right, and making sure that I have room. But the top, oftentimes the knuckles or the top of my toe will get rubbed on and irritated, and then I get calluses down here on the ball or on the ends of my toes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so what you should do is definitely, like I think you already mentioned, is massage the underside of the tissues, try to stretch those back. The toe separator is not as much of an issue for you, but
yeah,
I would
they're not crossing. It's not going over. They're just all parallel and up like that.
Yeah, I would try to spend time every day getting those toes to bend backwards. Like you could get a light resistance band and kind of pull them back and go flat, try to get the feet more flat, and then massage the tissues and then go flat. I mean, could spend like 5-10 minutes on that every day. I would do it every other day to start with, because the tissue is not adapted to that. But yeah, it's interesting because, this is more soft tissue, not just the bone. So you're going to be able to make quite a bit of changes to that. And everything changes though, like the bone, the joint, the formation of the joint. There's tissue around the outside called the epimysium or endomysium, which most people call a fascia. So the fascial tissue changes and its like kinks and tries to hold the rest of the tissue back. So massaging the area and stretching the area will help realign all of that. And then the strengthening, like doing exercise where you're pulling the toe back can help too. Like you almost, like you can get like literally like little rubber bands. It's almost like doing a press or a pull with your larger motion, but you can do it just your toe and pull the toe back into the straight position and do those kind of exercises. That will help you also. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And any other question? You guys have awesome questions here in this afternoon, evening session, and morning session for our Australian and New Zealand full body fixers.
So
Great.
Robbie, I will call on Marilyn because she was not able to raise her hand. So Marilyn Hendricks.
Hello, Marilyn. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm very thrilled to be part of this, and thank you for your gift to the world in doing this. I had a ruptured Achilles tendon several years ago, and I had to wear compression stockings, and they were left on too long, and it pushed my big toe over too far onto my second toe, and the second toe ended up being a hammer toe. And I've never been able to get those back into regular formation. And now it turns out that I end up with cramps at the night through my calf and up into my thigh, because it's all connected to the toe. It's in the wrong position. So I use something called TheraWorks, which is like a numbing spray, and it does help take the pain away. But long term, I want to get the toes back where they belong. Is that a possibility?
It's a difficult thing to, like, when here's ideal, it's a really difficult thing to say when an individual has a pathology or issue, like how far you can get back towards ideal. But what I've basically never seen is that you get at least 20% improvement, at least. Like you can, some individuals go more towards 100% depending on the issue, but basically all issues, if you really work on your body mechanics, you make at least 20%, but it's 20% coming out of pain, discomfort, muscle cramps at night, loss of sleep, like all that's that you're removing that in that 20%. So I would say the minimal amount you're going to improve is that, and that's pure quality of life improvement. So that's a really big deal. So, and it would go back to the same thing I was sharing with other participants here in this Q&A. Massage the tissues towards the side that the tissue's going incorrectly into, work on stretching it, spend light, gentle time every day, putting the body part in the right position, find different ways to fixate it in the right position for sustained periods of time. When I say sustained period, like an hour, 2 hours, and doing the exercises on top of that, all of that together will really help. And yeah, and with the hammer toe type of issue, doing that strengthening with the rubber bands, kind of going into that extension, it's actually extension of the toe. It's a little difficult to set up, but you can literally use a little rubber band on the toe and then try to pull your toe into extension. Sometimes it takes a few rubber bands. You have to link them together, attach them to something. But once you have that set up, it can really be a tremendously beneficial exercise.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. But consistency, like all that stuff is so consistency based. You gotta like start every other day, every 3 days, but then work your way into doing those things every single day. Judy, hello, welcome.
Thank you. This has been great so far, and I expect that it's going to continue to be great because I can tell you really know your stuff. My question, actually, I wasn't going to ask it, but when you say that the foot should be stable and, you know, the ankle move, it just seems to me that with all the joints in the foot and the muscles, shouldn't we have movement in the foot too?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, you should definitely have, but it's like it's like stability and mobility for every joint, for every body area is important, but it's a little more stability, and excess mobility typically becomes more of an issue. So for the high majority of humans, excess mobility in the foot causes breakdown much more. And really, you know, one way to say, like, and I say excess mobility, right? That's really that it's not stable enough. If it's not stable or supporting the position enough, then it falls into inside positions, it falls into outside positions, it falls into incorrect alignment more easily because it's not stable enough. So you know, stability isn't without motion. So stability includes motion. Stability doesn't necessarily mean that it's rigid. So rigidity would be something different, right? That it's just stiff and non-movable. It's that it has stability within alignment. So it moves and functions and creates a foot arch and half dome, and the toes move all functioning, but it's very stable. It's very strong to maintain that position, right? And the ankle needs to be strong too, but it's more important when the ankle doesn't have proper mobility, then that puts more stress on the foot to roll inside, to roll outside, because it runs out of range of motion, and then it leads into the foot. And then you'll end up seeing, it's really interesting. I won't get too deep into this right now, but as you'll see in other full body fix sessions, actually foot stable, ankle mobile, knee stable, hip mobile, and then pelvis, low back stable. So that's like the lumbar spine's not supposed to have a lot of, so every major section of the body, it goes stable, mobile, stable, mobile, stable, mobile, up through the body all the way into the cervical spine. So because when one structure is stable and then this structure moves well, then this next structure is able to maintain proper position, and then next structure is stable. So you're going to learn more about this as we go into next sessions. But like, if you think about, you don't want your knee, like one of the major issues with knee is it starts shifting inside and shifting outside. The knee should just basically be a hinge joint, straight out and in. The knee should do that. And when it starts doing other things and falling in, and people have weaknesses, that leads to problems. So it's not that it shouldn't have mobility, it's that stability is most important for that body area.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good, really good.
Well, I guess I want to ask also, those semi-private sessions, do they have any cost associated with them?
No, it's actually free. Yeah.
It is. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. I opened to it and I couldn't tell. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Patricia, you wanted to say something?
No.
Okay. So yeah, the it's all about you sessions is my gift to you. So and Patricia, if you drop the link in the chat again for that. Oh, it's already kind of in the yeah, it's the third one from the bottom there. And I'll give one more opportunity for any last question. Oh, Dr. Dorsey. Hello, sir. Just saw your hands up. Welcome. One second here.
You're muted.
Hi, I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV.
Oh, okay. I see Dr. Dorsey, so
Yes,
I don't know.
those are my initials.
Oh, sorry.
You just touched on just about everything that I need help with, okay? And after all these years of having been in the military, playing intramural sports, college sports, whatever, nobody ever focused on the foot. I have never heard this before in all of the years that I've been involved in calisthenics and competitive sports. So I'm impressed. I have been injured from car accidents. I've been rear-ended 3 times. I had a warehouse accident, not my fault, and I didn't rear-end myself. And my hip's been busted since I was like 25 years old. I'm 75. And I've been getting cortisone injections at the VA in the hip from the bursar. Are there programs that I can engage in through the instruction that you offer that will alleviate over time my need for getting these injections into the bursar?
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Okay. Wonderful.
100%. Yep. Yep.
Okay, let me move down my lower extremities to my knee. I've had 20% of my meniscus taken out, and I've had torn ligaments. I don't wear a brace, although I do have a custom fitted prosthetic device. But I was just introduced to a rebounder, okay? And I want to start using the rebounder, but I'm afraid of, do I have to have a brace on my knee when I'm using this? Because I see the benefits in the rebounder.
Tell me more about your knee issue.
Well, it's stable now, but it can go unstable at any time. I've got 20% of the meniscus has been removed, and I've had torn ligaments. So I just basically have a weak right knee.
Yeah, I wouldn't do any type of ballistic, high velocity, quick change of motion, anything
Okay.
like that without your brace until you've gained like total mastery and stability over the motion. So
Okay.
braces are really good for any time we're used to this, and then we try to play in this playground. Anytime we try to play outside of the box of what we have
Yeah, right.
total control and capability, that's when a brace makes sense. But otherwise, we should try to function without the brace. But as soon as we want to like function outside of that or try to do something outside of that, that's a good time to have the brace until we can adapt to that new stress that's outside of the box in which we're adapted to.
Yeah, I haven't worn the brace in a couple of years. I kind of stay away from it and do as much as I can without it. I'm impressed. I'm ready. I'm all in. I'm ready to go, seriously. And my pool is being installed right now. I just moved to Las Vegas.
Nice.
And they're
Awesome.
finishing up the installation of my pool. And the only reason I got the pool was so I could do deep water exercises using a flotation belt from Water Gym. I had it in Florida. I had a deep water pool, but here in Las Vegas, I don't have it. So
That is fantastic. Yeah, and you're
I was-
coming to see me for an It's All About You session.
Oh, absolutely. I'm
Cool.
going. I just got an MRI from the VA on Friday. They did the printout. I've got some minor issues, but I've had issues with my back, since I was 25 years old. And what I want to do is strengthen that. She asked me if I wanted to go to physical therapy at the VA. I told her no, I didn't want to go. I was looking for something different. And here you are. So
Yeah.
there
Awesome.
it is. Yeah, yeah.
But by the way, I love the posters and framed artwork behind you. I love it. That's awesome.
Oh, thanks. That's me talking to me on a daily basis.
Right. I get it. Yeah.
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 I have to stay motivated.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah. And what is your first name?
David Dorsey.
David
Mhm.
Dorsey. Okay.
In
Awesome.
Las Vegas.
Fantastic.
Masquerading as Dr. Dorsey.
Yeah.
Okay. I've enjoyed it.
I'll see you soon, my friend. Glad you
Oh,
enjoyed it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, full body fixers, we will sign off now. I will give one more opportunity for any questions that you may have. This is an absolutely fantastic session. Q&A session is what I'm rating there, and giving all of you credit for the great questions and connections that you've had with us here. And Carmen, hello and welcome.
You mentioned a checklist. Is that going to come through email?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. I've
You're
enjoyed
welcome.
it.
I'm happy to hear that. And Patricia, when does the email go out about?
It already went out. So
Oh, okay.
everybody should have the replay and the checklist in the email.
Perfect. Awesome. Super efficient. You already have it. I was talking about 2 days. It's already on the same day. Perfect. Fantastic. Okay, well, I wish all of you to make it an absolutely wonderful weekend. And I look forward to seeing you back here for session 2. Make sure you don't miss that. Session 2, 3, 4, and 5. Make sure you're definitely at session 5. And Patricia will drop a link there for you, just in case you're not scheduled already, and for a place to go and click the link, and you can get yourself all scheduled in for the other sessions if you're not already. And also we have the It's All About You above that, an opportunity to connect with me in a semi-private session. So much love for you, and make it a wonderful weekend. We will keep the meeting open, so you don't just lose the links all of a sudden. This meeting will stay open for at least 10 to 15 minutes, so you have the opportunity to go back into the links there. And we'll see you again very soon.